Welcome back. It's episode 8 of World on the Fly. No editing. Screen capture program trying to edutainment you about what's going on in the world. And what we have today is a story of how abstraction led to the way we live today. I'm not putting any editing in this. It's trying to get the world the right way up. I don't know why it's not working. But you like the music? I'm very laid back today. Here we go. It's turning around now. Whoa. This is funny, because I can't get it the way I want. How do I turn it around? Here we go. Right. Okay, that's enough music, as usual. Turn that off. What we're doing here is talking about abstraction, because once upon a time, everyone lived in the jungle. Now, I always talk about the 3 different colors every time I show the world on the fly. This is the brownish red color. It's a desert. The lime green color here, as we zoom in, that's your cleared land that man has worked upon. And then, of course, you've got your jungle, very little of which is left. There's the Congo there and the Amazon basin on the other side of the world, the Amazon jungle. Once upon a time, my contention is, and I will repeat this all the time on World on the Fly, is that it was all jungle, and especially this grey bit here, which accounts for at least 2/5 of the world, maybe even 1/3 of the world's landmass, which was all denuded by man's actions, by tree clearing, war, agriculture, people's desire to control other people rather than get along with them, results in the degradation of the environment in which they live. Now, a lot of you might say, well, duh, we know that, that's pretty obvious, and so what? Well, you say that because you don't know that even though there is plenty of speculation on the internet and all over the internet and on the internet, mostly on the internet, that there's lots of other planets out in the solar system, out in the Milky Way, look, all the little stars, they're all planets and everything, so don't worry about it. If we stuff up this planet, we can always go somewhere else. That's total fantasy, and you are believing it because of abstraction. Now, where did abstraction begin? Remind me later to zoom into the middle of Algeria here. I want to show you something that you won't believe. But before that, let's get a tab here and move into an area which I call the beginning of abstraction. Hunters and herders. Not now, whatever that was. Bones unearthed from an ancient mound in Turkey suggest that humans shifted their diet from hunting to herding over just a few centuries, findings that shed light on the dawn of agriculture. Agriculture age started about 11,500 years ago. Get rid of that so you don't get distracted. I'm just showing you this now. If you want to look at these links, I can actually throw a link in there for you to look at later by going like this. And I'll just paste it in there like that. See, there's a link. And you can go back and type it in. You can't click on it. Sorry. Not everything is easy. You've got to do a little work if you want to go to that same website. There's the link. Now back to here. Oh, now I've got to get rid of it. Let me think if I can remember how to turn it off. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to show you in Algeria something that you won't believe. But before we go to Algeria, we're talking about the Neolithic hunters, right? This is before 11,500 years ago. So for perhaps, I don't know, a million years ago, up until 11,500 years ago, when all of the world was green with heavy rainforest, only because man couldn't do anything about it. He was a puny little hopeless, pathetic, clawless, fangless, muscleless, very small muscle and very scary compared to the other animals in the jungle, couldn't do much to the wild world. And this mentality remained right up until my existence. I remember people talking about parts of the Amazon and African jungle being unexplored in my own lifetime, and I'm living now. So that proves that the mentality didn't change much from those times right through, even though civilization it created a great destruction over thousands of years. There was no Google Earth to look at it, so you couldn't know. Anyway, the Neolithic hunters started they're herding in these mountains here, which is between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. That's the Tigris and Euphrates. And they lived at the base of the mountains here around the Himalayas. And they found a grass growing there, which was in fact the beginnings of wheat. And so they were herding animals, and they would follow the animals around, because when you're herding animals, you've got to go where the animals go. You see, you start thinking like an animal. You start looking for the things that the animals need, so you can have the animals. And why they herded animals is anybody's guess. I don't know, maybe they're tired of picking up worms and eating them, or whatever it was. They thought this would be a good idea to get control of animals. And then, of course, when you get control of animals, animals get control of you, and you have to start looking around to see what is good for the animals. So they found in this area here, at the foot of these mountains, they found the first ever wild wheat growing. Later on, that was to become the basis of the first civilization, which was then to become the basis of writing, which was the beginning of abstraction. And why is abstraction so important? Because once upon a time, especially when you lived in this jungle here, right, in the middle, which is only represented by this, what's left here, that's a little tiny bit that's left. When you lived there, everything you looked at was real, and you could depend on everything being there. If you look at a picture of something, for example, if we go to the Louvre, I wonder if I can just go straight to the Louvre, Paris. That's a museum in Paris. Can I go there? Louvre Museum, tour guide, Louvre.fr, that'd be it, official Louvre Museum website. If you go to the Louvre Museum, the Louvre, you will walk into there. Let's see what they look like. Activities, tours, blah, blah, blah. Let's go and look at something. Can we look at anything? They won't show you anything. There we go. There's something there. That's an ancient artifact. Look. I can't see anything there. Activities, tours, events, learning about the Louvre, plan your visit. They don't want to show you anything. All right, I'll go back and just look at something else. Anyway, there's Wikipedia's version of the Louvre. The Louvre. There it is there. There you go. There's the Louvre. Okay. This is a man-made building in which people put things made by man. Now, if you go back here, this is a natural-made environment in which man lived. He didn't put any of his made things into that environment. The environment put its things in front of him, and he just had to go around walking in the environment, coming across everything that was put there by nobody. No man put in front of him what was there. If you walk around in this thing, everything you come across in there has been put there by a man. Now, you might be saying, so what? That's what people always say, because they're so trapped in abstraction, they don't care about what's put in front of them as long as they're having a good time. But the fact is that they don't always have a good time. Now, you might say that back here in the jungle they don't have a good time also, because tigers were trying to eat them, elephants were jumping on their camps and that, etc. Well, that's true. That's probably what motivated people to create an abstract world like this, where they thought they would be more, you know, at home and comfortable, and food and God knows what, and entertainment. However, there's a lot more problems with people today, as we all know, with the mental health problems and the war and all the different things than there was compared back to these days. And these days lasted a lot longer than these days. These days, as we'll show you, as we zoom in up here to Algeria, and this is the end of episode 8. I don't want to make it too long. I could go forever, you know, but you know, it's boring listening to me talk. You go in here and look for any habitation that might be man-made, because you might say that this is a natural environment. And yes, there's some rocks, there's some sand. If we zoom in far enough, we're going to find more rocks. A lot of people believe the Sahara Desert is only sand dunes, like this red stuff here. That's sand dunes. This would be sand dunes, right? But if you go in, and there's sand dunes. See the wind-swept sand dunes there? Okay? That's a natural environment for a desert, but is the desert a natural environment? We're going to cover that in episode 9. I just want to show you for a second here. I've just zoomed in at random in Algeria and found a town, right, in the middle of the desert, which once upon a time was in a green zone. And the people's activities means that all that's left are the man-made abstract habitations, which are these houses here, and the little bit of greenery that's left are date palms, because that's the only thing that'll grow in the middle of Algeria, date palms. So in episode 8, we're going to find out how the land ended up so denuded, and how it's only possible that this land used to be green and that man created it to be the way it is now. So thank you very much for listening to episode 8. And there's a little bit of music as we zoom out and let you relax and get ready for episode 9.